Hi, what if you can spend $1,000 a week and get back $3,000 every single week? That's what we're gonna discuss here today. I have been involved and know people that have been involved for a long time in a type of scheme where you invest or spend $1,000 each week to handle or run a business, and they are profiting anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a week. And today I'm gonna share with you how you can do the same, maybe with the same type of business that we are doing, or apply the same principles into a business that you are interested in and might not have the time to run it yourself. This is not a magical process where you need to learn how to code or use crazy techniques on from websites or sign up and take courses or anything like that. What I'm talking about is starting or running a business, even if you don't have the time to run it yourself. Let me break down to you what I've been doing and what people around me have been doing for a long time, how it's working for them, how they set up or structure their business, and how you can do the same, maybe in the same business or apply that in a different business that you are actually wanting to start. So let's get into it. What I'm talking about is very simple, and you might think it's too simple to even work, but believe me, I know people, and I've been doing it myself, that have been doing this for a long time, years. And they have been so successful that they have been able to scale this into an actual business that brings in, some of them, bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this is how it works. Imagine that you want to start a business doing, I don't know, let's say car detailing, for example. You might not have the time to actually get that business going because you will need to carve out some time to actually go and do the detailing of the cars, right? If you get any clients or any customers. But what if you partner up with someone that is already doing this as an employee for somebody else, right? And they might not have the capital to actually get started. They might not have the knowledge how to get it started, or they don't want to actually start their own business and they are okay, happy, and comfortable just being an employee. If you find someone like that and you can partner up with them, you can get that person and have an arrangement where you pay them a certain amount. In my case, in my industry, in my region where I live, the normal range has to be just around $1,000 for them to consider working with you and maybe stopping working a consistent job to try out a new business, a new venture, right? So I'm gonna give you my example of how I run it, how I do this for myself, and maybe you can replicate or learn something from what I'm doing, and maybe you could apply that for your own projects, whatever that project might be, right? So I've been running multiple businesses, and one of my businesses was really taking up a lot of my time. So I didn't really have the time and the energy or the resources when it comes to time to really keep running and growing that business. So what I did was I partnered up with someone that wanted to start this or was already getting started and didn't really have the knowledge of how to scale this. And I made an agreement or arrangement with that person, and I told him, look, as of right now, as an employee, he was making anywhere from $800 to $1,200 a week. So I told him I could guarantee you $1,000 a week as long as you can help me run this business. And then on top of that, whatever is profit, we split it, right? And whatever arrangement do you want to make. In my case, we split it where we have a 60-40 of the profits. So he gets to keep 40% of whatever profits we bring in for the business, and I get to keep 60%. And you might think that that is a lot of equity that you are giving up for a project that you might want to feel that is yours. But think about it this way. If I didn't do it that way, I will have zero, right? So I'd rather have 60% of whatever we bring in than 100% of zero. Okay, so let's just continue. So my business is in transportation. I have a couple of trucks that I was financing and I just couldn't continue running. So I was at a point where I was considering selling all of my trucks and just focus on my main business, right? But instead of doing that, I partnered up with this individual that was already getting started and was eager to actually grow. And I presented the opportunity to him. I told him, look, I have 4 trucks that are financed. I'm making payments on them. Unless I keep the trucks running, I will not be able to continue running the business. But if you partner up with me, I guarantee you $1,000 a week, where now with those $1,000, he could see that as his salary, right? And he will handle the day-to-day operations for the business. He will handle the actual business. He will handle breakdowns. He will handle coordinating all the teams and maintenance and all that stuff, right? And To him, it seems like a no-brainer. He was making about $1,000 a week as it is, but working full-time, sometimes more than full-time. In transportation, you work long hours. And for him, it was a no-brainer. So, okay, I'm guaranteeing $1,000 by helping you continue to run your own business. And on top of that, the bonus for him was that 40% of whatever profits I made after paying all the expenses, he will keep. So it was like him starting a brand new business and just growing his business without having to have the full structure beforehand, right? And you might say, yeah, I already had a business going and already had a structure going, and I just needed somebody basically to take over my business so I can focus on something else. But then I realized that you could scale this. And if you can scale it, then you can also start from scratch. So I decided to test it out and start from scratch and grab 2 trucks, finance 2 trucks, and I put zero down. I brought in those 2 trucks and I started the process with those 2 trucks. He was getting the $1,000 from week 1, and I wasn't generating that kind of revenue from week 1. So my investment really was, for the first 3 weeks, I had to come up with $1,000 a week. But then after the 3rd week, so on the 4th week, I started generating revenue and profit, covering all expenses and all the costs. And I was bringing in about $2,000 a week in profits. Out of that, I was keeping 60% and he was keeping the other 40%. But still, if you don't have that kind of arrangement where you have a split, I would be making about $2,000 to $3,000 a week from a brand new business that I started that I didn't have to run myself. And all I did was apply for financing. I was able to qualify. So in my case, in my situation, that was a roadblock that I had to go over in order to even start the business. But let's say that the project or the business that you want to start doesn't require a whole lot of capital to get started, and the main hurdle or the main constraint is not having the time to actually get it going, then this is an approach that you can actually use. I do have other videos where I go over leveraging other people's resources, including their time and their know-how, to get started in a business or growing your business, and you can check it out. It's going to be linked on the description below. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to have a more clear path or breakdown on how to actually get started using other people to run or start your idea, your project, your business. But now, if I wanted to get started in a brand new business in a brand new industry, and I didn't have the infrastructure already in place, like I did, I had a head start. But if I wanted to get started and I didn't have that kind of structure already in place, these are the 4 steps that you could use to actually get started and get going without having to do it yourself if the main hurdle that you're facing is the lack of time. Step number one will be to get involved in the industry. You have to get some understanding of how the industry runs, how it operates, get some details on what your business is gonna look like, what is it gonna entail to actually run that business. Let's call it market research. Step number 2 will be to find someone that is able or capable to actually run that business. They don't have to know all the ins and outs of the business or running a business. They could be an employee and then figure out how much they're getting paid. If they're making $600 a week for working for somebody else, then you could offer the same. And at the beginning, it's gonna be an investment on your end. But if you did your research properly, you should be on track to be profitable pretty quickly. And even if the profit is not a big margin, at least at the beginning, you're able to get a business going without having to invest your own time. And then your goal from that point on should be to scale that business to a point where it's actually profitable for you and worth it. And eventually you could be able to get involved and actually do that full time. So step number 2 will be to find someone that you can leverage to help you get started or running your business. Step number 3 will be to find what makes it tick. What makes your business different from other people? Create a difference maker. So a reason why people in my industry is able to succeed and grow and expand and scale their business is because they have something that somebody else doesn't have. In my case, that would be availability, flexibility, customer service, whatever. There are many different things. And you have to figure out what is it that makes your industry tick and what will give you an edge over other people. Let's say that you want to start a painting company. In my experience, one of the reasons why more contractors or service providers don't get more business is because customers or possible customers have a hard time getting a quote. One of the main reasons why people don't even approach or reach out to contractors is because they don't even know how much it's gonna cost. So something that someone I know is doing is that they're posting actual projects and examples on their websites, on their Facebook pages, or on their Instagrams, and showing how much that project costs. And people can use that as a reference to kind of evaluate how much you would charge for your business, for your services, for your project, for your product, right? So you need to figure out what is something that you could offer that is different. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Most of the time, it shouldn't be anything crazy. It should be something simple that you can manage, that you can create. But if you can figure something that it could be different compared to your competition, you will have an edge when it comes to competition. And you should be able to scale your business much faster than other people in your industry. And then step number 4 for your project will be to evaluate, create, and have established a goal of what it would look like for you to be able to quit your job and focus on this business 100% of the time. And what I mean by this is, for example, if you're in my industry and then you are generating revenue based on how many trucks you have, right? In my case, until I had 6 trucks running and operating consistently, I wouldn't be able to generate enough revenue to actually quit and focus on that business 100% of the time. So my agreement or arrangement for someone would be, okay, we are gonna start with 2 trucks or 1 truck or whatever in your situation is, and we have 6 months to get to 3 trucks, and then another 3 months to get to 4 trucks, and another 3 months to get to 5 trucks, and whatever. You'll have set goals for that, right? And then you will set a timeline to where you want to meet those goals. And let's say that you started on January 1st. By December 1st, you want to be at an X amount of revenue or growth or clients or projects. By then, you should be able to focus 100% of your energy into that business. Now, before you actually get started, there are many different ways you can leverage other people's resources. It doesn't have to be just their time. If you want to understand and learn more about how you can leverage other people's resources and what kind of resources are easy to leverage from others, watch this video next. In this video, I'll talk about leveraging other people's resources, including things like their know-how, their time, their efforts, their connections, many different ways to leverage other people's resources. It's time to get started. 2025 is just around the corner. But any day is the right day to get started. If you can't do it yourself, find someone that can. There are many people out there looking to achieve great things. There's a lot of people that you could probably leverage. And let's all grow together.